Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy time zone, wherever
Happy
you are.
time zone. Happy time zone.
Shannon, I missed you.
I
It's been
know,
a
it's
while.
been so long. We
It's
were
been
just
so
talking
long.
about this. We haven't streamed regularly. It's okay. We're changing things up this fiscal. And even
Yeah.
next fiscal, we're going to kind of do the same thing. So we're doing more focused efforts related to our streams. But then we have these interesting moments where we're able to bring guests on and do things in an ad hoc fashion. We're agile in real
Yes.
life. That's us, right?
Although what Shannon didn't want to say is that she's living the dream right now because it's 102 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius, and she's kicking it at the beach and she's having fun.
Oh, I
While I'm stuck
wish.
here in the Pacific Northwest where the temperature is at the low tens in
Yeah, I
Celsius
have
and
to.
60s in Fahrenheit.
So my office gets really hot. That's why it's very dark back here because the sun just cooks the back of the
She's in the
house.
basement,
No, I'm not in the
apparently.
basement. I'm no, I'm not.
Allegedly,
I'm
allegedly.
allegedly in the basement. But yeah, no, it's been weirdly hot, and
Uh-huh.
I read the stat that like a third of America is going through this heat wave right now. So you're not part of that third. Sorry,
No,
Christos, you have to
I'm
move.
the
I
third
think
of the America that is going through the polar, uh,
the polar
polar.
vortex in June.
It's something global warming something. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, there's something iffy here because I can't believe it's June and we're still wearing
Oh, I know.
long sleeves.
I know. I know.
But anyway, I'll stop venting because people don't want to hear about my weather issues. If you are
Oh,
somewhere nice and sunny, enjoy the day. Schools are almost out. We got 2 more days for hours to finish, so they look forward to driving us crazy by being home all day long.
yes, I know.
Hmm.
And I get to look forward to that in a couple of years here.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, right now, I just have to deal with a kid that can't quite tell me what's wrong. So
I
he's
know.
at that age.
Maybe that's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
You're right. It's both. It's
It's
both,
both.
right?
It's both.
And every stage of life with the child is there's good and bad things, right? So
Exactly. I've got Vicious online. Hey, friends. Welcome on the stream today and on the Microsoft Developer channel. Thank you for joining us this morning. We have a very exciting topic and a very exciting guest as well. Do you wanna introduce the topic, Shannon?
sure. So we have a guest here. His name is Canming.
Hmm.
And we got connected to him by way of David Gregory. So we can give a shout out to David Gregory.
Hey,
Thanks for
David.
connecting us.
Yep.
And we are going to talk about low code authentication with Datawiza. So without further ado, let's bring Canming in from the backstage. It's we don't really have a backstage because we're all virtual, but we don't have a green
Can
room.
you imagine
Sorry,
dragging them from the back?
that
Just
would be
like, come,
fun.
or somebody
That would be
pushes
fun. Maybe
them
that's
on.
what maybe that could be our North Star. We need a green
Yeah.
room. We need a
Yeah.
backstage. But
If our
anyway,
if our manager is listening, I hope he's listening. We need a studio, we need equipment, and we need to be able to fly people for live interviews,
yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly.
That's a
So
good
I
idea.
good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Hmm.
Sure. I'm super excited to be on the 425 show. I heard a lot of good things about it. And,
Well, that's good.
you guys
Yeah.
are talking about weather. I think we have a little bit better weather here in
Hmm.
Silicon Valley. Maybe the highest is 90 degree. And in the morning, it's a little bit chilly. You see what I'm wearing. It's still a sweater, but I need to take
Yes.
it off. In the afternoon, we will have, 90 degrees. But
Yeah.
Sounds so
overall,
fun.
I'm super pumped today, and I'm honored to be here. Like you said,
Hmm.
David introduced me to you guys. We were collaborating on some other stuff, and but he thinks, maybe the audience of 425 Show may like the topic we're gonna talk today. So hopefully, you guys will enjoy it and don't think that's a waste of your time.
Absolutely. Well, we'll talk about authentication, authorization, like a million times on the show. We've done it so many different ways. But this is the first time that we're actually going to look at a low code, no code approach to authentication outside of Azure. Because that's the important bit. We do have a similar capability for Azure Web Apps and Azure Functions, but it is very scoped to these services. And we know that companies are trying to move fast, they want to be agile, but sometimes they don't want to go back and change code and do things. And I think that your solution is going to be amazing. So tell us a little bit about Datawiza and what you guys do.
Sure. So basically, we are a startup based in Silicon Valley, and we are building a zero trust application access platform. There could be a lot of use cases, and first of all, everybody is talking about zero trust, but what do you think the most important things about zero trust? It's authentication and authorization, right? If you don't have authentication and authorization, how can you say you are, working toward zero trust, right? So
Right.
that's the topic of today, authentication and authorization. So, but regarding our company, we are building the so-called zero trust application access platform. So it has a couple of top use cases. The first one is user to application segmentation. For example, how to control which group of your employee can access which group of your applications, especially for those mid-size or large enterprise. A lot of their applications are not federated. Like open source application, like your legacy, Oracle stuff, right? CRM, ERP system, or your homegrown application. You guys, your company has built maybe a decade ago, right, or 5 years ago, right? At that time, we don't have, like today. When you try to build a new application, you must make it, federated. Or in Microsoft world, you'd better work it, to make it Azure AD login enable, right? That's the biggest thing if you want to do zero trust, and that's the top one use case. So it's user to application segmentation. It's it's mainly for those non-federated applications. The second use case is we call it a VPN alternative. So by using our product, you can put our product actually is a very super lightweight proxy. You put this super lightweight proxy in front of those applications, then you will enable a VPN alternative solution for your employees or for your third party, contractors. They don't have to use VPN, but to use this proxy to protect your applications, right? And that's the second use case. And the third use case is the most important topic of today. It's no code. How to develop Azure AD login for your application, no matter the application is written in Java, written in Python, written in PHP, whatever language, right? And no matter where the application is running, it could be running on Azure, it could be run AWS, it could run your own data center, right? We don't care. We support you, right? We make it a no-code solution to you to save your time, right? And you
like
don't
it.
have to, for example, think about it. If you don't use a no-code solution, what do you need to do, right? First of all, you might need to learn the modern protocol. You need to learn
right.
OIDC, right? What OIDC it is, right? Yeah, I know the audience may be very familiar with the OIDC, but if you recruit some new engineers, right, graduating from school, they need to learn from scratch, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So that's the low code thing. I think we try to make your life easier by building a solution there to do Azure AD authentication and enable you to call Graph API much easier. So that's some top use cases and the topic of today. Yeah.
I like it. So, when we were looking at the product, right, after we had met with you and we kind of did a little bit of digging, there's a product in the mix, and maybe that's where we start. So when we looked at it online, it's called the Datawiza Access Broker. Do you want to talk about that and kind of let us know? And maybe now is a good time to talk a little bit about the architecture too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what makes the most sense, because I'm sure you probably have these conversations quite often with folks, right? Who are like, what is Datawiza? How do we get this working?
Yes, that's a good question. I prepared a couple of slides. Maybe now it's time to bring them on.
Perfect.
We love slides.
Okay, thank you, guys. I talk about the, let me make it in presentation mode. Okay, here again, my name is Canming Jiang. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Datawiza. If you want to reach me, here's my email. I talk about the use case already, user to application segmentation, VPN alternative, but today's topic is no-code development. So here is how it works. So basically, Datawiza Access Broker is a super lightweight proxy, which you can deploy in any environment, right? Any environment. I already mentioned multi-clouds, on-premise, right? No problem. And it will talk to Azure AD on behalf of your application, right? So that your application could be very dumb, I would say. So you can save a lot of time. You can focus on the core functionality of your application instead of spending time working on Azure AD login and
Right.
how to call Graph API, right? That's how it works. We talk to Datawiza Access Broker, talk to Azure AD to finish the login process, and after that, we will get the user's information, and we get all the tokens for you, and those tokens are passed through HTTP headers to the web application. It could be on-premise or in the cloud. So that's how it works in a very, I would say, very high level,
High
right?
level.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, some benefits I would like to say it again. No need to learn OIDC protocol or SAML protocol. You don't need to manage a refresh token, access token, or ID token, and you don't need to manage a user session, and you don't need to use SDK and write integration code. And it could reduce weeks of engineering work to hours, even minutes. And it helps avoid security vulnerabilities with a no-code product developed by security experts.
I like it.
I have a question.
Sure.
If I already have authentication implemented, let's say with MSAL in my code, if we use Datawiza in front as a authentication proxy,
Yeah.
Is there any interop with MSAL so we don't have to double the authentication effort, or is that going to be an issue? Do you know?
Yeah, I think there it depends on the application. If the original application authentication is done through those standard protocol, for example, header-based authentication, or through Kerberos, right? Those standard authentication, we can integrate with the existing application so that you don't need to log in twice, and we call it a double door, right?
Yeah.
But if your application, is not using those standard protocols I just mentioned, then you are facing two choices. One choice, you leave it as it is now. So we have the user will have a double door authentication experience, right? But that's not a problem because you only log in to the first door once, and say you have 10 applications, right? You only log in. You only have double door experience for the first application, but for the remaining 9 applications you want to log in, you will not see the first door because that's the beauty of Azure AD single sign-on. But again, you still need the original door over there. Yeah.
Right.
And another choice you can have is to do a little bit, modification of your application to disable the original door, original authentication.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we have seen, both cases on our customer side. So some of them think, hey, I need to revise the application, but they revise the application by using us, using a no-code solution to revise the current application. And for some customers, for example, they don't even have the choice to revise the application because they got an open source application. They got Oracle stuff, right? It's impossible to rewrite them.
Right. How does it work for things that are scaled out? So let's say I have a web app that is scaled to 10 instances. We put Datawiza in front. Will Datawiza be able to cleverly think or map to the appropriate instance? Do you know how to drive that?
Yeah, I think you can treat us Datawiza Access Broker as a reverse proxy. It can scale up easily with load balancer or with your Kubernetes environment, and it can be deployed, in a standalone server, right, or a Kubernetes cluster, or they can be deployed, as a sidecar to your application. For example, sitting in the same Kubernetes pod or sitting in the same application server where your application is.
And I think that's something that we'll cover later on during the demo because we got demos. Everybody loves demos. But there is a dependency on Docker. Is that right?
Okay.
Yes, to run Datawiza Access Broker, you need Docker, but your application can run in any environment.
Anywhere. Yes.
Okay.
Sweet. So you don't have to re-architect everything.
No.
Datawiza does its thing. You run your own thing. Everything works
Yeah.
as expected.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. And I know that we mentioned it's a multi-cloud solution. And it's a multi-authentication provider solution. I know that technically we shouldn't be talking about competition, but at the same time, we know that customers have multiple solutions. For example, they might be running on Azure and AWS and Google Cloud because they want to be multi-cloud. You
And
guys
on-prem.
support that.
And
on-prem. Sorry, I keep on forgetting.
It could be all. It could be all, right?
It can be all. Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't matter where you run. And also, you don't have to use Azure Active Directory. Ideally, we would like you to use Azure Active Directory. But if you use other identity providers, I think Datawiza also covers this. Is that right?
Yes, I think I would say Christos and Kuehn and the whole Microsoft is very open-minded to have us. Although we mentioned some similar functionality on the Azure platform, like the easy auth for the application service, right? Actually, we have some similarity here, but the difference, as Christos and Shannon you already mentioned, is multi-identity support. For example, we not only support Azure AD, we support other identity providers. We will not name them today, and we also support any cloud environment, right? And also on-premise.
Yeah. Perfect. That's great, because that's probably what customers want to know, right? I don't want to be locked into an identity provider, or maybe I have two, because we do have customers that have two as they migrate or merge or do things, and sometimes they have to support multiple solutions. This is supported, right?
Those big M&A firms, this will be a hotbed topic because of the fact that you can do it in a lot of different environments. So I think that's really helpful. So Canming, I think you're I don't know if you want to show your slideshow. Do you want to go up to slideshow and hit
present
from current slide? Yeah, because I think there's some slides here you want to go through.
Oh,
I think we've already gone through.
I'm sharing.
Yeah, you were saying, but they didn't progress as you were moving on.
Yeah, so I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to spend a little bit of time. Like I didn't know if you wanted to like go into the slideshow specifically.
You guys are seeing my slides?
Yes.
Already
no, we're seeing. Yeah, we're seeing the notes view, so we're not seeing like the full.
Yeah.
Are you presenting on a different screen, maybe?
I only have one screen.
So click on slideshow at the top.
Slideshow. Let me see how to do that.
A little bit further. Yep. Go. Yep. Slideshow. Right next to review. Oh, to the left. To the left.
Yeah.
Slideshow. Yep. And then hit play from current slide.
Okay.
And then this way we'll see the benefits in theory.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought
you know what? But you know what's weird is it didn't show up that way. So maybe what we it's weird.
I think PowerPoint is not collaborating this morning. It's fine.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So I guess the idea is to
let's do a PDF. Let me quickly have a PDF.
It wouldn't be a live show if we didn't have some technical issues.
I know.
You know
I
that.
know. It's unfortunate, right? Well, I honestly, as you were talking it through, I wanted to make sure that we took a look at the slides in the event it was helpful. I think you're right. I think we did cover quite a bit of the slides without showing it, which is not
I realized
at
some point he was going through the slides, but I didn't want to interrupt the flow, so I'll let him go. I mean, we can probably share the slides later on if people want to see them.
Yeah, actually, maybe that's a better use if there's some problems showing it.
Yeah, maybe I will do this. Let me try again.
Or maybe we could take a look at like the architecture or something. I feel like that could be invaluable. No worries. It's just proof we're doing this live.
Yeah.
Share.
Or are we?
You guys can see it?
Yes.
Yeah, we can definitely see it. So yeah, there we go. Cool.
Yeah, I think maybe the mode has some problem, but anyway, I will try to do this. It's as a workaround. Okay, make it bigger.
Yeah,
so that's the slide. I thought I was presenting, but let me go over it very quick. That's the company name, and we are doing zero trust. And here's the top use case: user to application segmentation, VPN alternative, and that's the focus today: no code development. And here's how it works. We already mentioned that this is Datawiza Access Broker, super lightweight container talking to Azure AD. Finish the authentication, then pass user information and access token to the web application. And the benefits, right? We already talked about them. I want to go through them each by each, but here is the demo, the demo setup. Yeah.
Very cool.
And how it works. So here, I will continue. Shannon, any question, before I continue?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But I wanted to make sure that if we had an opportunity to kind of showcase the architecture, right? Because I do think it's invaluable. I don't know. People learn so many different ways, right? People are great with visual. People are great with hearing about it. People are great with banging away and building it themselves. But I think I like the fact that it's this Docker container and that you can run it in a number of different environments, and it's pretty invaluable then.
Yeah, and here's the architecture. As you can see here, this is Datawiza Access Broker, and this thing can be deployed in any environment, and all of the Datawiza Access Brokers will be managed by a unified cloud console in the cloud. I didn't show the cloud console here for simplicity reason.
That's fine.
But I will show it in the demo later. And remember, this thing is managed by a unified cloud console, not managed locally, right? That's the beauty of supporting multi-cloud. If you have Datawiza Access Brokers deployed in 3 clouds, right? But you only need to use a single pane, a single pane of glass, right? To manage all your stuff. So that's the beauty of supporting multi-cloud. And the architecture I already talked about. So here's a demo. I will run it on my own laptop. I know developers work on their laptop first before deploy them.
We do indeed.
True.
Local development.
Yes. So I use localhost, running this Datawiza Access Broker on my laptop on this port 9772, and this thing talk to OIDC with Azure AD. And as I said, after login, we will pass the user information and access header to this Python application. This Python application running on localhost 8000, right? And it will call the Graph API, attach the bear token, which is access token. And for this application, it could, as I said, it could be very dumb. It does not need to track user session. It does not need to manage the IT token, refresh token, right? A logic, usually if you implement such thing by yourself, you need to say, hey, before I use the access token, I need to check if it's expired or not. If it is about to expire, I need to use refresh token to get the new access token. Those logic, you need to handle them inside the application. But by using Datawiza, we handle it for you. So each access token you are getting from the HTTP header is valid access token, and you don't need other tokens. Yeah.
Very nice. Now we have a demo. It's very exciting because I think I've seen a glimpse of it and I love it. But before we jump to that, Shannon, do you want to say a little bit about the hackathon?
Sure. Yeah. So there is a hackathon going on at the moment right now. So
Identity for All, right?
Identity for All, and the idea is, I don't know if you want to make that a little bit bigger, Christos. It's kind of, I know,
demanding all these demands. See what I have to deal with every day?
What's funny is we probably should have said something at the beginning of this. So sorry for taking a little bit of your thunder here. So it's live, it's functional. There's swag. You've got time to enter.
Yeah, 14 days.
The requirements are pretty broad, so it's just implement something with identity, and then you've got a way to show kind of how it's set up. You'll want to make sure you have a video. You'll want to make sure you've got code in a public repo. But I think this is pretty cool here. There's $10,000 in prizes, right? So lots of cool stuff here that you might be able to get access to. Just go to aka.ms/WAC-ID for all, sign up. The deadline is June 30th. So
yes,
you don't have to, you have to scramble a little bit, but maybe you don't have to scramble as much.
14 days, you got plenty of time.
I don't know. I'm not a developer, so I might be scrambling, right? I just play a developer on TV.
But next Thursday, we're doing it live. We're going to show you our solution. We're taking part. Not for the $10,000, obviously. We're taking part for the glory and for the badge. You know the
I think
badge.
Christos is going to try and figure out a way to get the $10,000, right? Isn't that what we said?
Am I supposed to quit before the hackathon so I can apply for it?
Please
But
don't. Who am I going to work with then? We gotta
Hear me-
figure that one out.
Hear me out. Maybe after today's session, you can use Datawiza to implement something.
That would be
And
kind of
submit it.
cool. Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
I was about to ask a question. Is
Anything that
is
is
allowed.
Azure AD.
Okay, they may
Or
use Datawiza as a cheating sheet.
Yeah.
There you go. So maybe that's what I would do
There
because
you
I'm
go,
not.
Shannon.
I am not a big. I mean, I'm getting better with identity protocols and OIDC, right? But
Mhm.
I still feel like I'm like the perpetual green belt, with a lot of things. So and maybe I'm not even a green belt in that realm, right? Like I know identity on premises very well, and I know identity in the realm of a lot of infrastructure based components, and I'm learning a lot more working with Christos and JP. But yeah, so I feel like this would be a fun one to maybe implement. Maybe there's a way I could play around with it.
Datawiza
Shannon,
is for you.
Yeah,
There
you got us. We are here for you.
There you
Exactly.
go. There you go. I love it. I love
So
it.
it was a perfect segue. See, I planned it. I didn't forget to mention it. I planned it in such
see,
a
I
way
thought
that
you
now that
forgot.
people bit
you go.
into Datawiza is awesome. Let's go and do it. Now you can actually take any solution out there, deploy it, put Datawiza in front of it, and then run it. And you'll see the demo from coming in a bit to see how easy it is to set it up.
Nice.
I've planned it. I can't believe
love
that
it.
you don't have
Actually,
trust in
this
me.
is a surprise for me. We didn't have this for the dry run, right?
We didn't. I wanted to keep
Surprise.
an element of surprise in the show. Surprise!
Proof we're also doing it live, right? We
Yes.
like
Yeah.
to surprise our guests sometimes. But yeah, this would be an awesome opportunity to build something and use Datawiza over the top because again, the requirements are pretty broad. You don't it's not very specific because we have run hackathons that were very specific
Correct.
before. But this one's pretty broad. And so you could use something like Datawiza in front of your solution and not have to deal with any of the authentication, authorization components, right? That's sort of just handled for you.
And look at who's judging. We got Pamela Dingle. She's the big guns of identity. We got Jeremy Take. We got Danny Storkis. It's amazing. Like the people that are involved in this hackathon, it's bigger than our team. Last time we ran a hackathon, it was our team, and we collaborate with the DID folks, the distributed identity folks. But this one is a great opportunity to be involved. Super easy. Like you don't have to do much to participate, but make sure to check the criteria on how you can qualify. And next week, if you want, you can see us deploying our sources. It's going to be a fun one because
Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it
not saying
next
anymore.
Thursday, I think
Next
is what we have concluded. So given everything kind of tying together for the end of the fiscal at Microsoft, next Thursday, join us live. And yeah, it'll be essentially hot takes for
Look at Shannon
5-10
coming with
minutes.
all the business lingo.
Right?
End of fiscal.
End of fiscal. Maybe
End
I
of
should
fiscal.
not. End of our year. It's end of Microsoft's year. So if
End
the
of-
folks are
yeah.
tuning in and they don't know, Microsoft's end of the year is June 30th.
So
We
right
do
now
it a
it's our
little bit
Christmas.
differently.
You know, it's
right,
it's
exactly.
the December
There's not a lot
time
going
of
on.
Microsoft.
So given that we've got a little bit of time, and I think
Yes.
next week works out well to go through that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then I think what we should do next here is we should have Canming, do you want to share your screen and go through the demo?
Demo? Yes.
And then what folks can do is they can just copy this into their demos or their hackathon submission, right?
Yes. So we already have a repo for you guys to steal.
Or you want to show the
Here's the repo.
Reuse. It's open source. It's reuse. You know.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah,
GitHub.
here.
Actually, we built this repo based on Microsoft's previous, repo. So we steal something from Microsoft already, and we revised
I mean,
it.
it's fine. It's fine. I mean, so I think that's the one thing when I was moving more into the realm of code that I just never start from scratch, right? And I think a lot of developers are at that way. So
Yeah.
the idea of never starting from scratch, I would never say, "Oh, shame on you." No, that's actually probably smart.
That was kidding. Yeah. So basically, we already have the repo here. This is the URL. If you guys want to look at, I think we will share the links later on.
We definitely will. What we
Yeah.
do is we also put this up on YouTube, so this will live long term on
Yeah.
our YouTube site with the
Yeah.
demo repo in the show notes.
Yeah.
So
Remember, in this demo, we run two things. One is Datawiza Access Broker on localhost 9772, and this is on localhost 80. So now I will access localhost 9772. It's already, everything is already configured. I will show you how the application looks like. So now we are logging through this account. This is personal live account, but it also works for work account. So as you can see, I logged in through Azure AD, and this application can get my name. Although here is a fake name, Alex Smith.
I was going to say, did you change your name?
No.
He runs under an alias.
Yeah, I think I don't want to put my name inside a public Git repo.
Yeah, probably smart. But I mean, it makes sense. I think we do this in our own demos. We'll pick random names and it works
as
out.
you can see here, we have a couple of pages, and here is the calendar to showcase, how you can call the Graph API to get the existing events for this user, and you can also create a new event. Let's say, hey, I already created 3 events, but here is the 4th event.
And to clarify, it doesn't have to be Graph. It can be any API that is protected by Azure Active Directory.
Exactly. Here is for the demo purpose, and let's create one.
I would use this over Outlook.
Say it again?
I would use this over Outlook. That's how I'm going to be sending my invites from now on, Shannon.
Okay, thank you. So here a new event has already created, we can go back to Outlook. You can see here a new event just created, right? This is live demo.
I love it.
And we can go to the calendar and to see how it looks. It's loading. Okay, dismiss. I already have such a reminder. As you can see here, it's the new event we just created. So that's how it looks like once you already created with Datawiza for a very simple Python application. We showed the 2 things, right? One is Azure AD login, and the other is calling Graph API to get the existing data and also to update a user's data, right?
And to put it in identity lingo, we get an ID token and we get an access token to do all this work through Datawiza.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how it looks like. And later on, I will show you guys the code. Developers like code. They say, hey, how do you, although you said Datawiza is fantastic, how can I, integrate with my code repo, right? What logic I should put over there? So here I will show the code. So the design goal of Datawiza is to make your life easier. So hopefully after review the code, you will think the same as we are thinking. So first of all, I will show 2 major files here. One is called authentication helper .py, right? This one is about authentication, and another one is about graph helper, how to call graph API, right? So here it's a very simple get user function. So, we started with the user is not authenticated, but once we see, first we get the user header, right? Once we see this special header, we know, hey, this is already validated or authenticated through Datawiza XDW, Datawiza user. And the first thing we get the user's mailbox setting. And this function has a parameter is called get token. It's get access token. The get token is pretty easy, just grab this from header, right? After you get the access token, you can call the Graph API. So let's see how this get user looks like. Get user mailbox setting looks like. You have the access token here, then you call the Graph API, and very simple, /me, and get the select the mailbox setting here. And you will return the JSON, the beautiful JSON to your code. So here is the info to get the mailbox setting. And here we will also set some other parameters here. As you can see, we will set, hey, this user is already authenticated. Let's use true. And the name is simple. You don't need to call Graph API to get the name. But you are free to call Graph API to get more user information. But here we will just grab it from Datawiza. From the HTTP header. For example, this is the name header, this is the email, and also the time zone is from here, the info, right? The mailbox setting, time zone. So that's a very simple authentication module, to say how you can tell if this user is authenticated, and if the user is authenticated, what other actions you want to do, right?
It's all in the header. So
Yes.
as long as the authentication is successful, all you have to do is look at the header for specific header values, and then retrieve the tokens and do what you want. If you
Yes.
want to do anything, right? You might just want to authenticate people and make sure that they have access. That's it.
Yeah. That's the simplest use case. But if you want to do more advanced, you need this. We will show more example here. We already show this get user mailbox setting, and here is the get calendar event. Right, very simple. You put the header for this bear token. Right, this is the authorization token. You put the header here. Then you are free to call any Graph API. Right. And here is the query parameters for this get calendar event. And here is the API to call, right? And the last one is create an event. How to create a calendar event. I think that it's similar. You need some preparation work, and the key point is here. Just grab the token and attach it to bear token. Then you're done. You're free to call any.
Same pattern. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to show us a little bit about the console and how you set up the Datawiza component?
Yeah.
And also the Docker stuff. Oh, you forgot to show the Docker.
Yeah, I can show the Docker first.
Docker first.
Yeah.
So there's a dependency on Docker. If you want to run it somewhere, you need to have a Docker. Also, I don't know, have you tried to run it as an Azure container application?
Yeah,
Have you guys tried to do that yet?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
As long as it's Docker, well, we support it. Yeah.
Yeah.
As you can see here, here let me show what we have now. As you can see here, we have. Let's use this one.
And we're using Vim because we're hardcore. You don't have to, because I can't come out of Vim. But I'm just kidding.
So here is once you configure, make all the configuration on Datawiza Cloud Console, you will end up with a Docker Compose file like this. It's very simple. Just to tell you.
Is that secret very secret? Is that a demo secret?
Demo secret. Feel free to copy.
Just in case, people have doxed themselves before on this show.
Not production secret.
Yeah, it's not a production secret. Also, there's a better way to do it. Don't do it this way. Just saying.
Yeah. So here is, as you can see, we tell you where to download the image, the container name, and the secrets are for for this local Docker to get the configuration from the cloud, right? And here's the port number. This Docker where this Docker is running. As I mentioned, it's running on localhost 9772, right?
Okay.
So this is the Docker side, and this is the Python application, right?
Sure.
Very simple.
And then all you have to do is just stand up the Docker somewhere, and then your application needs to make sure that it communicates. Yeah.
Quick question for you on the Docker component. So let's say you've got a multi-cloud situation and you're running things on-prem. How many Docker data brokers do you need? Is it just one?
Yeah, you need, for example, you have, depends on your environments. Let's say you have 5 environments, you need 5 in each of these, but all of them will be managed by a unified console in the cloud.
Got it. Okay.
And we talked about the first time that we discussed this. I think each broker can handle about 2,000 logins per second. Is that right?
Yeah, we can have thousands of requests per second. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow.
And that also, like, if you have multiple instances and you have 10,000 users concurrently trying to sign in, you also need to take that into consideration about how you scale your instances of the data broker. Correct?
Yeah, I think Christos, you already mentioned that at the beginning of this show. We can work with load balancer. We can work with Kubernetes to leverage the existing powerful infrastructure to scale up and scale down automatically. Right.
Very nice. Cool.
And okay, we covered all other pieces, and it's time to show Datawiza Cloud Console how easy to get this to get this.
And I like the fact that it's a single pane of glass, right? I think that's always the hard part when you have sprawling environments and they're on multiple clouds and you're doing a lot of things in a lot of the different clouds, plus on-prem. The idea of having a central console is an awesome sell, I think.
Yeah, this is a major limitation of EasyAuth because it only works on a very small subset of scenarios.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Here is the Datawiza Cloud Console. It's like this, Feel free to use. We have freemium you guys can use right now.
So for the hackathon, I repeat, you don't have to pay anything. You can use the freemium and set it up, and off you go. Submit your solution.
Nice.
Yeah.
Remember, this URL is console.datawiza.com, and you can even log into this console through Azure AD. You know.
Oh wow.
Single sign-on.
Yeah, single sign-on. And you know, for other SaaS solutions, they usually charge you a lot to log in through single sign-on, and they put it in the enterprise level. We put it in the premium level.
Freemium. There you go.
Freemium level, not the premium level. Yeah.
Premium.
Even for premium, you can log in through Azure AD and enjoy this Datawiza Cloud Console to manage all your Datawiza access brokers.
You want to switch to the console, because I think right now you're showing. There you go.
Yeah, and here I will show you, how to create a Datawiza access broker, right?
Yep.
So you just only 4 steps, very simple. As you can see here,
I love this solution even more. Only 4 steps.
Yeah.
Yes.
So first,
sign me up.
You got the URL, Shannon. Just go.
I know. I just signed my own self up.
console.datawiza.com.
I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
Yeah, here is a Datawiza Python, or graph. You put a name here. It's a deployment. A deployment can consists of multiple Datawiza access broker, but it could be one, right? If you want to have 10 access broker, group them in one deployment, right? And all of the 10 will share the same configuration.
Nice.
So here, first create a deployment, and later on, create application. We support the web and also API. Here
so this is actually mapping to Microsoft Azure Active Directory app registration. This is doing the steps. Not yet.
Yeah. Here, this application is the concept inside the Datawiza. So we will show you where the map happens in the next step. Don't be hurry. So step 3 will be that. Yeah. Now it's step 2. Yeah. And here, as you can see, we use localhost 972. And listen port is the Datawiza access broker listen port. Let's just use 9772. And here is the where your application is running. Remember that Python application is running on 8000, right? And here we use host.docker.internal. That's the Mac way of saying localhost in Docker environment.
Right.
So it's different from this one. But actually, this is localhost 8000. But that's the Docker way on Mac to say localhost.
Got it.
Okay.
And later on, this is the mapping happens. Here we call it IDP. Actually, one IDP maps to one app registration on Azure portal. So for other platform, you need to configure something on Azure portal. But here we will show you some magic. You don't have to configure anything on Azure portal. We will do it for you. And we have it. We call it one-click integration. I will show you the magic later. But let's first configure something here. Let's call it,
Now I have a question.
Right.
Somebody, an admin in my organization will need to enable Datawiza's integration through SSO for me to be able to do that, or like I need to have the right permissions to create an app registration, or is Datawiza doing it on my behalf?
So as long as remember, I logged in through my Azure AD account to this console.
Correct.
If my account has the permission to create application registration, then I'm good to go.
Thank you, sir, because that's an important distinction. You need to have the right permissions in Azure Active Directory to create app registrations, or somebody else has to do it for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you can log in through another account, and using Microsoft's word, it's called dynamic, consent, right?
Yeah.
Dynamic consent. So we support those things, and here we support ORDC and
SAML and LDAP.
Yeah.
SAML is happy now.
And we see other, guys' name, but let's show Microsoft first.
Other people's names here, but we don't care about them.
It's okay.
Today is about Microsoft.
We'll play nice with everybody.
We're
these days,
inclusive.
right?
We're inclusive.
We're very inclusive.
Yeah, as I said, Microsoft is open-minded to have us today.
Thank you.
As you can see, I already mentioned this automatic generator. So basically, it will talk to Azure AD on behalf of you to create the application registration on Azure portal. And you can support different account types. If you only want to support your company's employees, select a single tenant. If you want to support other, maybe you are building a SaaS application, you want to support others, right? Then you can use Azure AD multi-tenant. And if you want to support a personal account, right, you can use Azure AD and personal account. And if you want to support a personal account only, select this one. So here we will select the most inclusive one, Azure AD multi-tenant and personal account. And that's it. You see the star, red star. That's the only 4 fields you need to fill up. And you create. Let me put something here. Make sure there's no duplicate.
Yeah, because in Azure AD, if you're using Graph, you can actually go and create duplicate app registrations with the same name. But we found that this tool doesn't like you to do that.
Yeah.
And important.
Okay, here is asking, maybe I already, session already expired. So I need to log in again and to Microsoft. And you see here is creating, boom, it's already created.
There you go.
Application is successfully created on Azure portal. I will not go to Azure portal to save you guys time. But as you can see here, we already got to the client ID and those issuer, right, the related stuff. And that's the magic.
I love the fact that you have the steps there. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's the Docker Compose I just showed you previously. You run this thing locally with your Python application, and you are done. Yeah.
And you're done.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah. Another 2 steps I would like to show, not included here. Let me go back here. This is the one we just created. I think we need one thing is here. This is the application, and let me go back here. Let me go to applications. This is the application we just created, and here is the one IDP config. And we can even edit the IDP to put more scopes. Remember, here is a calendar event, right? We need something like mailbox read here. We can add this mailbox read, and also we have let's put and also we have this mailbox read and write, and it's calendar read and write. Mailbox only read, calendar read and write, because remember we read the calendar events and we update it. We add another one, right?
Yes.
Here we have functionality. You need to change this AD IDP config here, adding the scope. And another step I want to show you is how to pass the user information through headers, right? And you can do this. For example, choose the field. For example, username, and you want to you can even do a translation here. Maybe your application is expecting name. Let's say we just put name. Let's put it in header, and that's how you configure the name. And another thing we need is email. We don't expect a translation here. And put a header here. Then your application will get this user information from header. You don't even need to call Graph API. So that's the last step I would like to share with you guys. I think pretty much that's it for the demo.
Nice. There you go. I'll add the URL one more time. It's console.datawiza.com. Go and sign up, get a freemium account, start playing around, and submit to the hackathon, because we want you to win all the money or the glory or both. And now you know how easy it is.
I love it. I love it.
Well, thanks for coming today. We love Datawiza. I think it's a great product. The demo was awesome. Canming did a fantastic job in showing us end-to-end how to set it up and how easy it is to configure. And that's it. Next week, we're going to have our hackathon taking place, our submission. Shannon is going to do the deployment, the easy stuff.
I mean, maybe. Maybe.
You can do it.
Maybe.
You can do it.
Maybe.
We have faith in you. See, as a developer,
we can provide a free professional service.
There you go. There you
go. There you go. So that's us. Let me set up the raid because we need to find out who we're going to go to after this show. And we want to thank Canming one more time for
Yes,
being awesome and for coming
thanks
to
for
our
giving us
stream.
some of your time. That's always the hard part, right?
Exactly.
I think
know you're
I need
busy.
to thank you guys for having me.
Of
You know, it's
course.
as I said, it's a great honor to be on this Microsoft 425 show.
And in the next couple of days, we'll publish this on YouTube. You know where our channel is, 4 to 5 Show on YouTube. We'll have all the links there, so you can go and look at that on your own. And if you have any questions, reach out to us or Canming. He's on Twitter. We tagged him a few times before the show.
Yes.
And without any further ado, I'm going to start the raid to go to our friend Fritz. He's doing some cool stuff this morning.
Yep.
And once again, I want to thank Canming for coming this morning to show us all the goodness.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, everyone. Raid is going to happen in a few seconds. It's the weird, awkward part where we have to wait for the raid to complete.
I know. We need some sort of
Some music. Yeah, okay, right.
We got to find something that's not trademarked.
Got you all, everyone. Have a nice weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.